Hey everyone, it is Fitz with your Power Talk following Thursday's open practice at the Shamrock Indoor Facility. And I got bad news. They've caught on to us. They know our scheme to check out the depth chart and maybe see some plays. They didn't show us much at all. And I'll get into what I did see. But first, let me back up and point this out. When we arrived, and we got to see 4 sessions, they're about 5 minutes each. And we were told we could not film the first session. They were going to be running some stuff they didn't want publicly out there. And then they started the first session, and it wasn't the same thing. They were just running some drills. So they shuffled everything up. They're being very protective of the offense, the way Matt Wells wants to construct it. During one of the spring practices, Ryan Wallace, who worked for us for many years, noticed some similarities between what K-State was showing in the practice and what Wells ran at Utah State and Tech, and he caught it. It's stuff Wally does. Great eye for schemes and things like that. And they didn't think anyone would catch it. So they didn't show us much in terms of that. What we do know this is, and I'm going to shock you with this, Avery Johnson is going to start at quarterback. But the real news is Jacob Knuth appeared to be taking the number 2 snaps. He's been in a battle with Blake Barnett, the redshirt freshman, but it looks like Knuth, as of now, is on top of that. I thought that was interesting because it looked like Barnett coming out of spring was above Knuth, but maybe they're just trying to figure out and push them both to decide who's going to be the number 2. What else we got? Receivers, again, they scrambled them during drills. So, we saw some of the guys that we expect to be regular players out there getting significant reps. Sterling Lockett was also getting frontline reps, but there was a guy I'd never heard of also getting those. Meanwhile, Jace Brown was getting the last reps. So even in the doghouse, we know that if that's what's going on, it doesn't reflect the actual depth chart. I imagine Jace knows that too. But I thought that was interesting. Jace is running the last team, and I suspect it meant absolutely nothing. That is just they scrambled the lineup and said, let's do it. No, there was no George Fitzpatrick to be seen. At least I didn't see him. You'd think I'd recognize him if he was out there. But it's a big facility too. They could have hit him. But he wasn't on the practice field in any way, which we didn't expect. It does look like John Pastore is moving up the depth chart and is right now a starter. So when the offensive line, there goes Daphne. So when the offensive line does the stretching, usually it kind of stretches back to the depth chart, but there's only 4 lines, so you don't get all 5 guys. But Pastore was in the front line with 3 other known starters. When they did drills, they never lined up as 5 guys. So we didn't really see that depth chart we wanted. But for the most part, everyone was out there, other than Fitzpatrick, that we could see. And this team looks like it's fairly healthy, other than your starting left tackle. And it was odd because, K-State did its cuts. And then they said, oh, you don't have to do that, which kind of screwed over some people. But I don't know what their roster number is, but it was notably smaller. The running back line only had 5 guys. Only 5. I thought that was of note. And they're all scholarship guys, I think. I'm pretty sure they all are. There was other positions that just didn't seem as stocked as deeply as they used to be. I think the offensive line only had 13 guys out there maybe without Fitzpatrick. So I don't even have a 3 deep with him. I thought that was kind of interesting. Again, not many walk-ons. There's been a lot of walk-on bodies at offensive line, and there's very few now. Just weird things that I'm not used to seeing, which were notable. Now, understand this. When they finish their stretching, and we get to see some of that, very exciting. They split up. Offense stays inside the actual indoor facility, and the defense goes to the outdoor field connected to it. So they're kind of out there in the rain, as it was when we first showed up. Gunnar Maldonado appeared to be full go out there with the defense. as were everyone else we expected to see. Asa Newsom was lined up and playing a lot of linebacker in drills. So they appeared to be getting very healthy. That's a really good sign. Again, our concern for George Fitzpatrick and the severity of whatever he's going through remains fairly high. Even though we think it might be heat related, that can be really serious. So we'll proceed, and I respect the privacy of the family. I'm not digging on it. Just someone has told me a few things, and we'll see how this all plays out. But practice is underway at Kansas State as they prepare for the Aer Lingus Classic on August 23rd in Dublin against Iowa State. You know all that. Football is here. The game is near. And I am done with this power talk. Even though it lacked much power, I did talk. That kind of makes it good.